Hi, it's Andrew from partymeeple, and it's the last days of November, early days of December, and I just want to talk about the fact that Jaipur is not going to be on yukata.de anymore. Now, they say they're doing this because there's going to be an app released, and they don't want the online version to compete with the app. And then on the surface, this sounds like a fairly sound decision. I actually I actually play on Yukata probably for about 15 minutes a day. I have some games going with some friends, um, and every morning with my coffee I have turns. If I remember during the day to log in and have a look, I have my turns. I limit my games to 4 or 5 so I don't get confused. And I've been playing Jaipur on there for a while now. In fact, I lucked enough to have bought the game because it was free online. Now, I actually would just want to say I think that asking Yukata to remove it, and when you read the forums in Yukata, this is the first time a publisher has asked Yukata to remove a game. All the games are there are free from the publishers, and Yukata agrees to remove them if they're asked. And it's no publisher has ever asked Yukata to remove a game before. This is the first time. Now, this is clearly for financial impact. The person putting what I believe is going to be an app on Steam out doesn't want the competition of free play on Yukata. I don't believe they have weighed up the cost of lost sales versus the bad blood they're going to get from people who are annoyed at what really looks like a very greedy move. We hear musicians and whatnot talk about how piracy affects their sales. You know, I sold 20 million copies of this CD and 90 million of them were downloaded. But you hear the philosophical musicians say that most of those 90 million never would have been paid for in the first place. My music's out there for free, which doesn't sound fair, but there are people listening to it who wouldn't otherwise be listening to it because they were never going to pay for it. They just took it because it was free. And you never know, from that, exposure generates sales. And I wonder if this is the same thing for whoever now publishes Yukata. This is a GameWorks copy. I will put the current publishers down here. Anyway, I just want to say I think this is a pretty shitty move. I don't think it's going to cost them any sales at all. The app on Yukata is a very basic app, which is actually one of the things I like about it. I imagine a paid-for app would be much more polished and, more importantly, would work well on a mobile phone. Most of the Yukata games can be played on a mobile phone, but they don't work well. They're like, an app designed for a mobile phone works far better than one that's just designed for a web interface. So for the few dollars that I imagine the app will be, I believe it's going to be available on Steam. For those few dollars, you'll probably get something that's a lot more polished than what is already on Yukata. So if you were a keen Jaipur player, you probably wouldn't mind paying the few dollars, even though it's available for free. In the meantime, all the people that are enjoying playing Jaipur on Yukata now think you're a greedy dick. partymeeple will always have its free to print and play games free to print and play. You can buy a physical copy of Castle Poker now, but if you want, you can go and print the stickers, put them on a standard deck of cards still, and play Castle Poker. I have no problems with that. I like the idea of people playing my game designs. If you pay for them, that's great. If you don't, still good. Still okay with that. Especially given you made some effort there. Like, you didn't just flip some coin and get yourself a copy. You actually printed some stuff out, found a deck of cards, found some cubes to play with, and more importantly, convinced your friends to play a game that was very handmade. Which anybody who's ever done that before will tell you, unless you're an absolute artisan, is not an easy thing to do. So, removing stuff from the public domain, free stuff from the public domain, simply because you can buy an item and you want to protect that income stream, I really, really think is a false economy. While I have your attention, Party Meeple still has some of the free t-shirts if you spend 40 Australian dollars on the Party Meeple site. If you live in the US, this works out at under 40 US dollars including postage from Australia, because it doesn't cost that much to post stuff from Australia like it does in the US. So you can have a play t-shirt and a game for 40 Australian dollars. What's not to love about that? Use the code word Cyclades.